I'm working in this shop now since 1960, the 4th of November 1960, 50 years ago. It's like it was only yesterday. It belonged to Swastika Laundry. They made us redundant, and instead of taking the 4.5 weeks for every year redundancy money, we took the lease of the shop. It was handed to us on a plate. I've had a very happy working life, and I'm one of the people that love going to work. You know, I've always liked the shop, and it has come easy. You know, it either comes easy to you or it doesn't.
There's no tickets here. Tickets
Yeah,
here.
Claire.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Ranelagh.
I was born in 1941. I was a war baby. I suppose it must have been hard times for my parents, but there wasn't the same commercialism or the same pressure. I never felt lacking in anything. There was lots of love in my house. My parents were wonderful people. One thing that did happen to me when I was 15 years of age, there was mass x-rays, it's now called health x-rays, checking for tuberculosis. So I asked two of my friends to go along with me. I thought we'd go for the fun down to Lord Edward Street. To cut a long story short, about 6 weeks later, after many letters, I met the postman to go back to get more checks done. Eventually the doctor in Lord Edward Street said to me, "Have you no mother?" And he says, "You've got tuberculosis and you've got to go into St. Mary's Chest Hospital." I came home and I was afraid to tell my mother, because at that time to have TB was a disgrace. You know, you were neglected in some way. And I remember my parents saying to me, don't go into such a house because it's reeking with TB, you know. There was a lot of tuberculosis around at that time. This would be 1955. When the doctor told me I needed to go into St. Mary's, I came home, and I remember my mother was coming up the road from the Miraculous Medal. It was a Monday night, and I said to her, I was afraid to tell her, "Mammy, I've got TB and I have to go into St. Mary's." And she put her arms around me and started crying, and I was delighted then because I wasn't in trouble. But 10 months later, or almost a year later, I got out and I've never looked back. So thank God for that. I met Jerry when I was 17, and when I was 24, we got married. We were 6 weeks married when he got cancer. We were only 6.5 months married when he died. I was much stronger when I came out the other end of my grieving. Not that I often was so sorry. I would have loved to have had a child. All I have now is a cat. They're only €30, though. And when do you want these? During the week?
During the week, yeah. That's right.
I keep your ticket, don't I?
You do.
13, 15 and 35. Bless
Okay,
you.
that's great.
Thanks, John.
Thank you.
God bless you. Dealing with the public can be very funny at times too. I mean, funny things happen. Like, you know, I had a very nice gentleman who'd come in here. He was a vet. I had a cat at the time, and it had a rash on its back. So I said to Mr. I better not say his name. He might be sued for libel. But I said to the vet, anyway, I said, "The cat I wonder, could you give me anything for my cat?" So he said, "Certainly, Claire." So he came in and he gave me tablets and said, "Give her a half every other day." So I did, and like a miracle, Ella's back was like silk. So he came into the shop anyway, and I said, "Thanks to you, I've got the healthiest pussy in Dublin." He said, "If I were you, Claire, I'd keep that to myself." Now, I was the ruination of him, because then he used to ring me and he'd come in and tell us about dogs. Some old lady ringing him up to say the Pekingese had an erection and what would she do with it during the night, and all sorts of problems like that. Back in the 60s, if we found condoms in somebody's pocket, because they were unusual at that time, we used to say, "Oh God, they're at it." Even to get condoms here, you couldn't. It was 50 years ago. But you'd be amazed at how many you'd find in pockets. They were got. I'm very lucky with the staff I've got working for me. Business is so bad, we're all on shorter hours. Now, I don't know how much longer I can keep going, mind you. I still feel like fit enough to work. I'd hate to retire and do nothing. I'd have to take up something, it wouldn't suit me at all. There's not many people nowadays who'll be able to say they worked all their lives, it'll only be the lucky few. So I'm one of the lucky ones, and this shop has been very good to me, and I've been very lucky.